It almost feels like a loss last night, though. It almost feels like a loss.
I'm not gonna lie. It feels like, yeah, that's kind of how the season's gone. You're an out away from a no hitter in a season that hasn't had a lot of great moments. You would have another really good one. Framber's almost second no hitter in a matter of a year. I think the one last year was August 1st. So almost a calendar year, he would have had two in a matter of a year, and then he walks a guy, one strike away, gives up the home run, and it's like, you know what? Of course, because this is how the season has gone. We're gonna win this game against this crappy team, but we could have had a no hitter.
No hitter, 2 outs in the ninth. Corey Seager. Corey Seager is a pain in the ass. He's just,
Late in games against the Astros. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 2 nights ago, last night. I mean, we can't be having Corey Seager home run off of. He's a good player. They made the right choice. That was the same year Carlos was out. Corey Seager was the right choice. Well, they won a title with him, so obviously it was. But Corey Seager is he's got a 860, almost 860 OPS. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. I am watching. I'm okay. So they did it again. I'm watching at the Buffalo Wild Wings. Framber's got a no hitter going. The Dodger game comes on, and every TV in there, and I'm like, what the? And the sound is on, right? The sound is on for that one. And I said, hey, can you get me, please, put that back on? And he got a no hitter going, and he said, yeah, absolutely. So the sound is on for the Dodgers and Phillies, and it's Bryce Harper at the plate against their lefty, their great lefty.
Kershaw?
Yeah, Kershaw. So it goes, the premier hitter of his time against the premier pitcher of his time. And I'm like, okay.
Does Bryce Harper have that label as a premier hitter of his time?
Or okay, one of. Let's even say one of. One of the premier. I guess he is, right? Bryce Harper is one of the premier hitters of this era?
I guess he is one of the biggest names in baseball. He's a really good player. Yeah, Shohei would be there.
In there. He has
I think Altuve is a premier hitter of his time.
Altuve is up there as a premier hitter of his time, right? Who else? Shohei, Altuve, Mookie. It can't be Lindor. I mean, who else is a premier hitter of this era?
When he's healthy, I guess you throw Trout in there.
Well, yeah. It's Trout, yeah. But he's never around, huh? But he's going to be. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Trout's a first ballot.
I don't know how they.
Aaron Judge.
How much does MLB care about lack of activity? Like with the Hall of Fame, but you barely played, so we can't give that to you. But the numbers we know. Best eye test tells you Mike Trout, one of the best players of a generation.
Aaron Judge is one of the best players, one of the best hitters of this generation, right? Yeah,
I would say so. Playoffs aside, sure,
absolutely. Do you know what his what Bryce Harper's career OPS is?
Is this going to be a Lance Berkman thing?
It's a Lance Berkman thing.
I knew it. As soon as I heard OPS, I knew this was going to be a Lance Berkman thing.
Okay, Judge, his career OPS 1,000. That is a premier hitter of your generation. Bryce Harper 912. Lance Berkman over 15 seasons, and this is over 12 seasons for Harper. 912. Lance Berkman 943 career OPS, and he didn't even make it to the second ballot. Are you kidding me? And we're going to call Bryce Harper and his 912 OPS one of the premier hitters of his generation?
He's got the flowing hair, man. Got the bandana, runs around, the helmet comes off. All the things
he and Mapes are the premier guys, bandana guys.
Well, okay. I'm sure Sean would appreciate the comparison. It's an image thing.
He is the Bryce Harper of this station.
Lance had the jowls that you always talked about. Bryce Harper is the image guy, and he's a very good player. But there's a lot that goes into Bryce Harper beyond just him on the baseball field. I mean, his actual play. There's an aura around Bryce Harper that people love. And he's going to get that type of hype. Unfortunately, Lance was a hero in this city. You guys were great friends, but I don't know if Lance Berkman has the wide appeal that Bryce Harper has.
Well, he should. He absolutely should. I mean, when Edgar Martinez gets, I don't. You know what? We're talking about Framber. We got the Texans injury to talk about and all that stuff. But it just struck me, and I went and looked. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You're kidding me about this." Lance Berkman deserves a lot more love. The Veterans Committee better look at Lance Berkman long and hard after his 10 years is up. But that's just ridiculous. You voters, you suck. Hall of Fame voters, John McClain, hero. You guys, baseball voters, you suck.
So
okay?
they don't work the same way where they'll have a local advocate for a player like the NFL does.
No, and if anybody's going to advocate for me, I want John McClain advocating for me. Okay,
he gets the job done.
So you can stop getting all over John McClain. Okay,
what's John going to advocate for you for? Are you trying to get into a Hall of Fame?
Actually, I am a nominee for the Texas Radio, and I don't care.
I know you don't care. That's part of the problem for you. If you cared more, you probably have a chance of getting in. But
I'm not sure I'd go.
Well, they're not going to put you in if you're not even going to go.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You're going to have to let them know. I would accept and I would show up. They're like, hey, let's longtime legend in Houston sports radio, John Granado. He's not here for this announcement, but we welcome him into the hall. They don't have that type of time.
Didn't really feel like going.
Yeah, he had other things to do. He'd rather stay home and hang out. He'd rather hang out with Yanni for the night, so he didn't.
I was busy. So Framber, he looked so good. How about he was averaging 10 pitches an inning. He was awesome. And then he started nibbling. He started nibbling in the ninth.
He started feeling it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I mean, after, last year, he knows how to get it done, though. He knows how to get a no-hitter done, and he did it last year. But it's still got to get you so juiced up. But he was so good all night long, even after the walks, the double play balls. He was fantastic. He was going to face 2 over the minimum. He was going to face 29 hitters. Well, he did face 29 hitters, and he got, unfortunately, Seager got to him. Only because, there was a guy out. He could have been 1. He got the walk to right to Simeon right before him, or was it Josh Smith? Josh Smith right before him. And, gosh, dang it, that was so. I mean, thank God for, you know what? I told a buddy. I said, despite Framber, I'm texting him. I said, this was in the 8th. I said, despite Framber, I don't know that 2 runs is enough right now. I'm not sure 2 runs is enough. And it wasn't. And thank God Jordan came through with the homer in the 9th.
And it almost wasn't enough. We are what, a couple feet away from a tie ball game?
Yeah. When he hit that ball, oh, my God. And Chaz is going back to the wall, and I'm like, oh, no. Are you kidding me? Hader is giving up way too many long flies. Way too many long flies. What's the deal? I mean, last year, you look at his numbers, and it's like, you're not a home run pitcher. What's going on? And then when they hit a homer off him, it ain't fooling around. Michael A. Taylor's home run off of him a couple weeks ago was just ridiculous. It was like, my goodness. Of course, Michael A. Taylor is a Josh Hader destroyer. So it got the win, but is anybody else like me? Are you like, what the heck? Did it feel deflating at the end there?
You're in the realm of college football fan. College football fan, when their team is a big favorite and they beat some subpar competition by maybe a touchdown, you're in the win feels like a loss column right now. That's what that feeling. I will take it because the Mariners lost, so you gain a game. So I understand. A no-hitter in a season like this would have been really, really cool, and Framber getting a second. But you gained a game. And if we're talking about what it means overall, you get the win, you gain a game. It was a good night. But, yeah, sure, the no-hitter, I'm not as down on it as you are because of what happened with the Mariners against Detroit.
Yeah, I'm not down. I was like, okay, take the win. That's nice. But it just felt like a loss. It's just a little dagger to the side. That's all. It wasn't like a full-on stab.
It wasn't 2 nights ago the worst, obviously. Compare the feelings.
Yeah.
2 nights ago, some people are putting it in the worst loss of the season column. and then you lose a no hitter on with 1 out to go. Okay, it sucks, but it's fine.
Right.
It's fine. You could have felt. You think of what would have happened if that hater pitch went out the ballpark. How would you feel? So look at the positives, John. Your team won. They gained a game in a tight playoff chase, and Framber is going good right now.
Yep.
I did notice late, and it was even pointed out on the broadcast because now it's an obvious thing, that I don't know if he gave up a walk, and then the entire infield surrounded him to get him back on track because he was frustrated. Like, they know we can't have him have one of his moments, particularly now. Let's huddle around him, calm him down, and let's go again.
Well, we need to remember that that's where Carlos Correa, that's where he gained his notoriety. And that's where Jeremy Brown.
I was going to get to that.
Continues
the
to
worst
say
part
it.
of
How are his mound visits?
the worst part of Correa doing that? Of course, it got Framber going again, but it turned into they give Carlos a couple extra million, according to Jeremy, because mound visits, and it became a thing. That's the worst part of that thing.
It's the very worst part of that thing.